I'm MistRazor, and welcome back to Highworlds. Today, we're going to be building a potion maker in collaboration with Yoru, and also going to be farming up some ancient debris, getting some netherite ingots, and upgrading our gear. But before we get to that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good.
That's great. I had like the best idea of it, right?
Okay.
It's a plan I've been brewing for a while.
Okay.
So I heard you're really good with redstone. Like really, really good. Top tier.
I know my way around a comparator.
So hear me out. Listen.
Okay.
Your ideas, my marketing, a like very, very big potion maker. Yes.
Okay. A mass potion maker.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas for that. The thing is, I think it's going to take up a ton of space. So do we have a place where we could build it that's like really big and hollow?
So don't tell anyone, but I haven't built the inside of my pyramid yet. I feel like that could work.
Yeah, your pyramid's pretty huge.
Yeah.
Can we go take a look?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, cool.
There it is.
Yes.
Like a big portal. Get ready to fly.
Yep.
Now, the problem is I don't remember where I left the opening, so we're gonna have to guess.
Okay. Oh! Yeah.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Yep. We'll just cut it.
Yeah, anyways. It's this way. Look. I found it. Look!
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I tried to get away.
It's okay. We'll rebuild it later.
Okay.
But behold!
Oh, yeah. This is easily enough room. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
just
need any materials or anything I need to provide?
Let's see. Powered rails? And then just the potion ingredients.
Ooh! I got that, yes. Alright. I will be going to get those ingredients.
Cool.
Alright. Yippee!
Alrighty. And I'll contact you once it's ready.
Yeah, sounds good. Alright, I'll see you in a bit.
Sounds good. Bye. Alright, first things first. If we want to get started on Yoru's potion maker, we need to build a lot of redstone components. We need, let's see, 272 observers, 461 hoppers, 1,127 power rails, 144 composters, I guess that's not really a redstone component, redstone repeaters, 47, 41 levers, 21 sticky pistons, 16 note blocks, 6 redstone dust, 4 redstone lamps, 2 redstone comparators, and 1 bell. Oh, and 1 redstone torch. And a dispenser. So yeah, we've got our work cut out for us. So let's get started on that. Alright, so this is basically how the potion maker works. We have note blocks that correspond to each of the potions that we can make here. There's 15 of them, from fire resistance all the way to potion of weakness. And when you activate one of the note blocks, like you're just changing its pitch, then the block will update, and the observer sees that, and that will power these powered rails. And it powers it for the next 8 rails, and then this observer will see that and power these rails. So in effect, it just powers everything down this line if you're making a potion of fire resistance. And what these different lines do, for example, this one is the Netherwort line. It goes down this way, comes up, goes like that, goes down. It powers all these rails. It goes all the way down here and goes to the Netherwort droppers, which get powered by these observers. And I will get back to these in just a second. So basically how these powered rails and observer things, you can imagine them as working like redstone dust and redstone repeaters, because it sends a signal and then the observer repeats the signal, because it could, when a signal goes through, this observer really only powers the next 8 powered rails. And so we just put another observer when we want to extend it, and it will propagate the signal along. And then if you look under this rail, you can see that there's an observer looking upwards. So you can see it right here. There's an observer that's looking upwards. And beneath that is another powered rail going in the perpendicular direction. So essentially, each of these potions, they all start off with Netherwort. So there's an observer underneath for each one that activates the Netherwort line. For a potion of fire resistance, we also want to include a magma cream. So basically, by having an observer here and here, it's saying, yeah, when somebody wants to make a potion of fire resistance, include a Netherwort and include a magma cream. And since it also propagates down this way, these 4 ingredients that are modifiers, it always tries to include them if they're appropriate for the potion. For example, glowstone dust is not appropriate for a potion of fire resistance because it doesn't do anything to a potion of fire resistance. So that's why this is just a blank block of smooth stone instead of an observer. But for the redstone, for example, it goes down and it activates the redstone dust line. So it activates this, and that powers this rail, and then that tries to send a signal through here. And because this block is not down, there's nothing in this spot to get powered, and so this redstone repeater doesn't get a redstone signal, and so it doesn't propagate anything forward, meaning that because this switch is not activated, then redstone dust is not used because this block is up. So whenever we have the redstone dust lever flicked down over here, then this block will be down in here, which allows the signal to propagate. Other than that, over here we have these observers, and there's one for every 3 of the droppers that are underneath. So if you look, there's a line of powered rails, and underneath there's a line of hoppers. And these hoppers connect to droppers, and the droppers push down into the barrels. So essentially, up on top we have these observers that look for the for the powered rails getting a pulse. And when they do, they output a redstone signal that powers these droppers. It puts one of that ingredient into the barrel, and then the hopper pulls it out of the barrel and sends it this way. What these are doing here, these redstone repeaters, are adding delay to make it so that way, essentially what happens is when we activate one of these and it's sending the ingredients out, it actually activates from left to right because it keeps adding one more redstone tick of delay. So that basically means that the Netherwort, because in everything except the potion of weakness, is going to be the first ingredient. So we always want it to be the furthest to the left, aka the closest to the brewing stand and the first ingredient that will end up in here. So in addition to just having these laid out in such a manner that the Netherwort's the closest and we have everything in the order that we want them to be put in. So for example, we always want the gunpowder to be put in before the dragon's breath. That is taken care of by them being put into the barrel such that they'll get sucked into the hopper, and then when they end up over here, they'll stack up in this final hopper in the order that we want to include them in the potion. But we also have this to delay the signal more as you go from left to right. It's kind of just an extra layer of defense of making sure that the nether wart is always the first ingredient, that we're never going to have a potion where we accidentally do magma cream then nether wart, because that's not going to work. And it is a little bit overkill, but I don't mind. I don't think it's a problem. I should also mention that these blocks right here are for shortening the redstone pulse, because when we use the delay to delay the redstone signal, it also lengthens the pulse from 1 to up to 4, depending on how the redstone repeater is configured. So if it goes to 2, it'll lengthen the pulse to a length of 2. 3 will lengthen it to 3, and then a redstone repeater at 4 will also lengthen it to 4. But because we have these blocks that are over sticky pistons, when the block gets powered, the piston pushes it up, so that way just the barest bit of redstone signal, just one tick gets through. And so that allows us to have something that would be, for example, right here, it would be a 4-tick pulse, gets shortened back down to a 1-tick pulse. And the reason why that's important is because if we have a 4-tick pulse going through this, then it turns on and then it turns off. And this observer will see those as 2 separate events, because the observer, it's not actually, it is propagating a pulse, but what it's actually doing is seeing the powered rail change and outputting a redstone pulse because of it. So if it's powering and then 4 ticks later unpowering, this will see that as 2 separate events, and it will turn what was 1 redstone pulse into 2, which we don't want, because that could end up having it output 2 things of sugar when we really only want 1. And that is basically how the potion maker part works. It is, I know it looks complicated, but it really is simpler than it looks. However, there is the more complicated part, which is the actual the water bottle refilling and especially the collection system. So what's going on here is we actually have 2 dispensers, one here and one here, that are full of empty bottles. They're pointing up into a water block, as you can see right here. So the dispenser is full of glass bottles, so that way when it fills up one of them with water, it can't keep it inside of itself, and so it ejects it. And so that ejected water bottle goes over here, gets sucked up by this hopper, and gets put into this chest, or this chest in the case of the other side. And then this hopper cart distributes those water bottles through these hoppers into these droppers. These comparators detect if the droppers are full, rather if the droppers on the ends are full. So essentially, if this one is full and this one is full, then we know that all the ones in the middle are full. Then we have enough bottles. Other than that, this distributes the water bottles to the droppers, as I said before. We also have a pulse tripler, which basically when this note block gets triggered, then these 3 sets of repeaters with different delays will power these pulse shorteners, and it will result in 3 1-tick pulses. So it'll be bam, 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 resulting in 3 redstone pulses that go through these target blocks and power these droppers, which in effect just has them output 3 bottles into these hoppers, which fill the brewing stands. So it basically is just saying, let's take 3 water bottles and put them into the brewing stands. Once the brewing has completed, then we go down here and we press this note block. So you can manually check, okay, these are done brewing, then you click this. So instead of pressing 1 button to make a shulker of potions, you press 2 buttons to make a shulker of potions. So what happens there when you click this is that toggles this with a 1-tick pulse, which will either pull this redstone block back or push it forward. In the case where everything's operating normally, when you do this, it will pull it back, which depowers this redstone dust, which depowers this block, which powers this redstone torch, which powers this block and the powered rail attached to it, which sends this hopper cart going out this way. And that hopper cart goes under the completed potions, and it fills it up with them, and then these hoppers pull out the potions from the hopper cart. Basically, we have 1 shulker of potions waiting in queue inside these hoppers to go into this shulker that starts out empty. And when that shulker fills up, it will output a redstone signal of 15 through this comparator, because comparators can read through 1 block. So it's reading this shulker box through this block. And this this lectern is on page 15, which means that this comparator is outputting a power of 15 into the side of this comparator, which in effect tells this comparator to, hey, don't put any redstone signals through unless they're 15 or stronger. But since there's no redstone power higher than 15, it's just 15. So if it's 14 or lower, it blocks the signal. But once this shulker box fills up and this starts outputting a redstone power of 15, then it will finally power this block, which will power this repeater and this piston, which pushes down, or sticky piston, which pushes down this half slab and breaks the shulker box, which falls down into this hopper cart and gets stuck in this hopper, which is temporarily locked. And the signal also propagates in this direction, where we shorten it to a 1-tick pulse, put it into this into this note block, where the observer detects it, and then this observer detects that, and we essentially send one more 1-tick pulse into this sticky piston, which pushes the block back forward, which turns this off, which depowers this powered rail and causes the hopper cart to stop when it comes back here. The other thing that's going on here is that we have this pulse shortener, which is, we're not actually using it for its pulse shortener properties. What we're doing is using it as a kind of signal debouncer. So when the hopper cart goes past this detector rail once, it will power this repeater, which will send the block up as the sticky piston pushes it up, turning it into a 1-tick pulse. And the thing is that when the hopper cart goes out and it comes back, it will do that and push the block up. But before the block can come back down and be ready to send another redstone tick pulse, this hopper cart has already bounced off and gone over this detector rail again. And so it prevents this part from getting triggered twice by the detector rail. Over here, we just have a basic pulse extender using comparator decay mechanics. And when this is powered, then it depowers this redstone torch, which unlocks this hopper and allows the shulker box that was trapped in there to make its way into the output chest. And when it goes through this hopper, then we can detect it with the comparator and activate this note block, which sends a signal through here and tells it, okay, we have finished making one shulker of potions and it's gone into the output chest. It's time to refill the bottles. So that activates this note block, which sends the triple pulse through and refills all the brewing stands with bottles. And the reason why it's important to wait for that is if this hopper cart is still moving back and forth when we refill these with water, then it's going to start pulling them out and putting them into, and these hoppers are going to start pulling them from the hopper cart. And so what's going to end up happening is we will have multiple shulkers that have some potions and some water bottles, and it's really undesirable and it's not what we want to happen. So that's why we make sure that we only send this through when the hopper cart has crossed in this direction. So that way, once this is broken, it will depower this and the hopper cart will get stuck over here. And because of that, basically because of the way the timing works, there's always 27 bottles, and so it always takes the exact same amount of time to fill up this shulker. And the way that the timing has shakes out is that this hopper cart will be here. Actually, it would actually be out here, and then this will break, and a new empty shulker will be here, and the full shulker will be stuck in this, waiting for this hopper to unlock. And then the hopper will get unlocked once the hopper cart comes back and stops here. And that will allow the shulker box to go through, get detected, and trigger the next round of bottles to get put in. Now that I've explained how it works in probably way too much detail for most of you to care about, I'll actually show you it in process. So let's make a splash potion of fire resistance with time extension. Boop. So we look in here, we got another wart, and look what's waiting in queue. Magma cream. You might be thinking, oh no, we're missing the redstone dust and the gunpowder. Yeah, they just take a while to get here because there's a lot of hoppers. So they're just kind of waiting their turn. The nether wart is done. Now the magma cream's turn, and then the redstone, and then the gunpowder. And because of the way hoppers work, they stay in order, and it works great, and it's wonderful. Okay, now that the potions are all done, Then we say collect. Watch it. It's pulling them out, and they're getting put into these hoppers. Now they're all empty. We'll watch as the shulker gets broken. There we go. It's stuck there. And as you heard, the note block went off. And it just triggered these to fill back up again. And as you can see, we have a shulker full of splash potions of fire resistance. And we all we did was press 2 note blocks. So that's how it works. I will include a schematic, a Lightmatica schematic of this. And yeah, so I guess the next thing to do is, next time Yoru is on, I will show her how to use it. Well, now that Yoru's potion maker is complete, I've decided that it's high time for us to finally get some netherite. So we're going to go hunting for some ancient debris, and I'll show you the MistRazor method of collecting ancient debris, which involves rockets, and this shulker box full of splash potions of fire resistance are going to come in very handy. The first thing you need in order to perform the MistRazor method of ancient debris gathering is some method of fog removal, whether that's a data pack, a mod, a shader, anything. As long as it gets rid of fog in the nether, then it'll work. The second thing you need is fire resistance potions. And the third thing you need is an elytra and a lot of rockets. So basically what you do is find an untouched lava lake, the bigger the better, and ideally not in a soul sand valley or basalt delta, just because they're a lot harder to find ancient debris. You dive in, and you start looking for ancient debris, because ancient debris doesn't spawn touching air. And the neat thing about lava is that it isn't air. So there. We dive in, got 2 ancient debris right away. Expect to go through a lot of rockets, because you got to get from place to place. And the more ground you cover, the more ancient debris you're going to find. Four and 5. Just gotta learn to look for that telltale texture. And when you get only one, do a little spin, dig around it, because often there'll be other ancient debris that's nearby in a cluster. You might get lucky and get a 2 or 3 cluster of them. And then once you've used up an area, you move on. There. I've got enough for 2 netherite ingots in 3 minutes. And as long as you're doing an untouched area and you're not in a soul sand valley or basalt delta, you can expect things to be about that fast. You can really churn through the ancient debris if you use this method and as long as you make sure you keep looking in fresh areas and not just retreading the same ground over and over, because obviously we're looking for the cheap, easy wins that are on the surface, not doing tons of digging to find them. One thing to watch out for is to make sure that you don't let your fire resistance lapse. You'll survive. Just, it's better not to. There we go. It's enough to get 6 netherite ingots. And let's see, we went through 4 potions. So, or rather, just started the 4th potion. So 3 potions, 24 minutes, 28 minutes. Yeah, about 28 minutes. 24. So getting about 1 ancient debris per minute, a little bit less than that. But it's a pretty good method. By the way, I call it the MistRazor method because, as far as I know, I'm the only, I've never heard of anybody else doing it. It's not to say that I think that nobody else has ever thought of it. I'm sure other people dive into the lava to get their ancient debris. But I've never heard about anybody talk about it on YouTube or mention that this is how they do it and this is how I do it. So that's why I call it the MistRazor method. And now that we have all that ancient debris, we should make some netherite ingots and upgrade our gear. But in order to do that, we're going to need Netherite Upgrade templates. And I've checked all the bastions within the world border, and as far as I can tell, they're all spoken for. So people have them, it's just that those people are not me. So we're going to need to gather some information on where we can get some of these netherite upgrades. And when you need to gather information, there's really only one place you can go. Oats' Diner.
Well, I'm sorry we found a whole bunch of books that we had to go follow.
Yeah, but the whole point of it was... Oh, hey, man.
Hey guys. Am I interrupting something?
No, it's... He owes me mutton. He said he'd get it for me.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry we found stupid books.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear about the books right now. That was too much, man.
I will completely remove your soul from you.
Do it!
Whoa.
Anyways.
So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to find some netherite upgrade templates. Do you guys know where any would be? I checked the bastions, and because of the world border, I think they're all gone.
I know where you can get them.
Oh, great. Where?
You can't have them, though.
What?
You can't have them.
Why not?
Do you not recall what you did the other day?
The TNT run incident?
Yeah. I worked so hard on that. I spent days, even weeks, trying to build that. And you just came in and you blew everything up to smithereens. I have been grinding. I have been in the deep depths of the caves, getting all these stones just to build the TNT run shape. And you came in and blew it up. Not once,
Really funny.
but twice.
Okay. Yes, that's true. But I did help you rebuild it. You know, technically.
It's not the same.
It was really funny. Sorry. I'm like...
Go clean the toilets back there.
Okay, yes, sir.
So you're seriously not gonna let me have another upgrade?
No, I will.
Well, fine.
I will.
Fine.
No, you can't have them whatsoever.
You know what? I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them from you. Just so you know.
Good luck with that.
So expect me. I'm coming for you. Have a good day.
Alright.
Oh, wait. Come back here now.
Or what?
Maybe we can propose a little deal.
All right, I'm listening.
You want netherite upgrades, right?
Yeah.
I want your soul.
You don't...
Well, my soul's not for sale.
I didn't ask if it was for sale.
Carlos, you don't need to make deals anymore.
Whoa.
Oh, you're right.
Gotta go. See ya.
I'll just take your soul by force.
Something else I'd like to mention is that you may have noticed that there's an upcoming storyline between me and Carlos involving us coming to a bit of a conflict. And I just want to let everybody know in the audience that everybody on this server, we're all friends. We all get along, and anything you see in an episode has been approved by everybody involved, up to and including exploding somebody's entire base. So I'm really hoping that nobody gets mad and leaves nasty comments on another Highworlders video, because we're all friends here and we're putting on a show for you. So I hope you get into the story, but please don't take it too far. That's all. Well, it seems like our objective has changed from finding netherite upgrades to stealing them from Carlos. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that in the next episode. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!